Judith Light has been entertaining audiences for over 5 decades, and she'll be inspiring us long after that. The iconic actress has been featured in everything from soap operas to sitcoms to The Great White Way. But it was the role of Angela Bower in Who's the Boss that really got her noticed. The popular 80s show featured the big hair and shoulder pads iconic to the era, but it also depicted a hard-working advertising executive who also happened to be a single mom, who had a sexy live-in male housekeeper. Who was the boss? She was. And in her current role on the groundbreaking show Transparent, Judith Light is dominating the digital stage as the matriarch of a dysfunctional family struggling with their father's transition into womanhood. She joins me now. Judith, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, well, it's really an honor to have you because you are such a well-known name in not just New York, but Hollywood in general, and not just through the roles that you played, but the activism that you participated in.
Yeah.
I want to start with talking about the new season of Transparent.
You may absolutely go there.
Oh my God. So the development of this character, Shelley Pfefferman, how much do you see of the voice of maybe women of your generation reflected through this character, because she's found herself and her voice and her power in this way that I don't think that a woman of her age might have seen in herself when she was, say, in her 20s or 30s.
That's absolutely right, and I love that you said that because I think she is iconic in that way. I think she is one of those mythic stand-ins for so many different people, not just for women, but also for men, because there is a place in which, as human beings, I think we have pushed feelings down. We have shut ourselves off. We have shut down our voice because of fear or for a multitude of reasons. And I think this character, I think Shelley Pfefferman, is the stand-in for all of those people. And I think when there's the third season of Transparent at the end, the producers, Jill Soloway and her sister Faith Soloway, wrote this episode where Shelley performs on this ship. And I think it was a release and a powerful moment for so many people to see that, aside from all of the fears that she had, that she was literally able to move herself past that and express herself, find her voice again. And I think that's why people find that moment so moving.
Well, what are your thoughts on the way that the landscape has changed so much? Because now with Netflix and with Amazon and with Hulu, et cetera, there seems like there's so much more open up for different types of storytelling. And I mean, Transparent has got to be the most groundbreaking example of that, where a story that I don't think networks ever would have touched.
No, they wouldn't. And cable might have touched it, but we have an executive in Joe Lewis and our other executive, Roy Price. When you work at Amazon, you can see the way that they function. And when they saw, one of the things they said was, we want to make television, and we want to make groundbreaking television. And when they saw the script for Transparent, Joe Lewis said, I'll take it. That's the kind of stuff that I want to do. And yes, everything that's happening now in television is expanding in ways that people did not expect before. And we're talking about, the networks are looking to the streaming and to the cable to see the kinds of things that they're doing and finding ways to manage that for their networks, things that are more acceptable content for them. But they are looking to those venues in order to develop things.
Well, I think that's really great because, like I said, it's just so progressive and pushing the conversation forward. I'm wondering, when you were first approached about this role for Transparent, did your activism for the trans community, did that play any role in your wanting to say, I want to be part of this project?
I had a 45-minute Skype call with Jill Soloway. I did not see a script. I knew my friend Jeffrey Tambor was going to play the lead. I love him. We've worked together over the years, over many years. And I was just talking to Jill and we were talking about our advocacy, because she was talking about, she wanted to do this show because her parent at 70 years old had come out to her and said, I am actually, this is who I am. I'm a woman. And Jill said, I want to make the world safe for my parent. And so she talked about her advocacy and what it meant to her. And she knew that I had been a longtime advocate of the LGBTQ community. And because of that, I think she and I had a kind of rapport, but it wasn't one of those things where I said, I see this script and I want to do this because I've been an advocate. I literally had a conversation with Jill and I felt so connected to her, and I knew that this would blend the two things that I had, you know, my acting work and my advocacy, and I thought, if I can do this, this would be just divine choreography.
One final question. Right now there seems to be a lot of conversations about the age of women who are in Hollywood. There was a recent interview that another actress did where she was asked about the plastic surgery that she had and whether, you know, if that was something that she wanted to talk about, even though she was there to promote a film. And I'm wondering, why is it so important for you to be out and visible and just who you are at your age in the public sphere?
I can't think of a better service to give to people. What is Transparent about? It's about being your authentic self. It's about being your authentic, courageous, true self in the world. We are beautiful from in here first. Whatever energy is reflected outwardly on our physicality comes from in here, and I really do believe that. And I think talking about age, talking about mature women and their sexuality like we did on Transparent, all of these things I think are important. And I love that you keep talking about conversations, because that's what I think we all need to be having. We need to be talking more about that. We need to be talking about the kind of value that comes with age, the kind of wisdom that comes from what we used to talk about many years ago and still could be present now, is the crone, what the crone woman gives, what her wisdom brings, what you have accumulated over the years. And I know a lot of people say, you know, I've earned these lines, and I say, yeah, I've earned them, but that's not only what it's about for me. It's about saying to everybody out there, men and women, you can be your true self, and you can be loved for absolutely all of who you are. And if you hold to that context, I think that can change your life, and I think that's why it's so important.
I can't think of a more beautiful way to put it. Judith Light, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and I loved your questions.
Oh, thank you so much. It was really a great honor to have the conversation.
Yes, and to be continued.
Absolutely.
Thanks.